Camera on. Hello, and thank you for joining us for another section of Camera On with Office Inside. Today I have my brother that was on the journey with me. But before we get started, can you please hit the like button and subscribe so you can receive notification to get more content like this. How you doing, bro? Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
I'm doing well. My name is Wayne Stewart.
Cool. Now, Wayne Stewart, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long were you incarcerated?
I did 23 years on a 30-year life sentence. I was struck out for assault with a deadly weapon, and I was fortunate enough to, up underneath the passage of different laws, to go to the board on my first time and was found suitable. And here it is, 2.5 years later, I'm out.
What was it like going in front of a parole board? Can you tell our viewers what it was like and what is a parole board hearing for those who might not know?
All right, the parole board is to find you, right, well, let me say it like this. The parole, nowadays the parole board is tell you, they're not here not to find you suitable. They're here to find you suitable. So is one of the most challenging things I want to say in a lifer's life, because one wrong word can determine you doing another 3 years, 5 years, 10 or 15 years. So through the rehabilitation factor of learning different aspects of life, of who you are and who you were and who you are now, it is the big thing of going into the parole board to be able to for the board to find you suitable for parole and to find you that you're not a danger to society anymore. And through the rehabilitation system that that so many of us done, and going through it and explaining yourself to the parole board, and even having the criminal psychologist to determine if you're in danger to society. And I found that one of the most challenging things in my life. Not even going to the trial, but the parole board process in itself, because that was going to determine if I was going to be free or if I was going to do more time in prison.
Yes, brother, it is a grueling process. They there to determine if we no longer a risk to society, to determine if we're still a risk to danger to society.
Yes.
And it is a very grueling process. Thank you, brother. So you said 26 years you was incarcerated?
Nah, 23. I did 23 on a 30 life sentence.
Okay, in that 23 years, what was your mindset, your mentality as you went through that 23 years?
All right, so when I first started my prison system, it was told to me, as I went through that, a life meant life. I was never gonna see the streets again in my life. So I went to prison with the mindset, I'm gonna do what I was supposed to survive, and that was going to be selling drugs or making pruno, whatever the business entailed. If it was, we're gonna ride. I'm gonna just hang out. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna smoke weed. I'm gonna do it all just to fulfill my joy, and because this was going to be my life in prison.
Yeah. And at what point did that mentality change? At any point in time?
Oh man, here it is. I'm 42 years old, and I'm on the yard, and they out there playing basketball, and a riot jump off. Now here it is. I'm out here at 42 years old, representing the Crips, and they having a Crip and Blood riot on the yard. So 42, and after the riot happens, I'm sitting in the cell, and I'm like, man, this is some straight BS.
Yeah.
You know, straight bullshit. And it was
Yeah.
over behind a basketball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, man, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And right after we came off the lockdown is resume program. I'm
Yeah.
socializing with buds, we laughing, we shooting shit, and we talking about the nonsense, this that just took place a week before.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight insanity, huh?
Straight insanity, a big old circle.
Yeah.
And
It's
what was you
go
gonna
ahead,
say?
bro. No, they
And
say about what they say about insanity. Repeating the
yeah,
same thing, expecting a different result. Yeah.
repeating the same thing over and over and over, and think something gonna change. And so I looked at that one aspect, and then here it is. I'm playing with them cell phones over and over again. I got busted with one. Three months later, I get busted with another. And here it is. I'm going back and forth. I'm doing C status. And so I'm looking at all my privileges steady being taken from me. But the cold part about it, I'm doing self-help at the same time. So I'm straddling the fence.
Yeah.
Trying to get myself together. I'm in prison. I done got a college degree. I'm in the Braille program. I'm learning Braille. I'm transcribing Braille books for the blind. But I'm straddling the fence because I'm selling dope still, and I'm playing with cell phones. So I end up catching that last cell phone right up, and I was like, I'm done. I'm sitting on this level 3, and I said, I'm done. I can't continue to hurt my mom. So I can't continue to, to hurt me most importantly, but I'm hurting everybody around me, man. Cause I can't call my mom how I want to call it because I'm sitting in the cell on C status with nothing in the cell. I don't have no TV, I don't have no fan, I don't have no radio. All I got is a book. And I'm like, I'm in jail. And that was one of the deciding factors that made me go to a level 2. I left the level 3 and went down to a level 2. And I just changed. I even stopped having people call me by my nickname and start going by my first name. And that was just a factor that was going on in my life.
Yeah. Now, what message can you tell someone who think going to prison is cool, or crime is cool, or even gang banging is cool, or drugs is cool? What message would you have for them?
Okay, I can look back at, right, when I was a youth, going through, through the gang element of life, and it's like prison to us in the Black community. If you was a gang member, prison was a badge of honor, right? Because we used to look up to the big homeboys that, I just got out of the pen and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. But now I look back at that whole concept of the gang and in the prison life, that was I was misled as a youth, as a Black man, and now that as a man, I look back and I'm like, man, that right there, it was a false belief. It was a false belief. The gangs is all messed up. I know a lot of guys in her said, once you go to prison, you socialize with the blood, you socialize with the Crips, from whatever side you from, right? You're gonna deal with them because we don't beef. So why am I gonna beef with a person on the street when I don't beef with him in the inside? But it was all false, and life out here is so beautiful, man. Right? You don't have to worry about nobody telling you what to do, where you gonna go, how you gonna live, how you gonna shit, how you gonna eat. I love eating how I want to eat. I love going places where I want to go. And if a person want those restrictions and think that's a badge of honor going to prison, and basically have all your rights stripped, continue to go to prison. But if you don't want, if you want the good life, and to be able to, have your girlfriend there with you, your wife with you, you know what I mean? look at the beautiful side of not doing those things, because is nothing there, because prison is just a I don't even how it's gross, and it's so gross to me, just to even think it's a place that I'll never want to be back again in my life.
Definitely, definitely, understandable. No looking back. Same here, brother.
Yeah. Mm.
So how long you been out now?
I got out in January of 2001. So I'm going on 2.5 years. I discharged parole in 2 years. I got out. I did my 6 months in transition. I was doing a bunch of odd little jobs, until I got my license. And then once I got my license back, so now I'm a Class A commercial truck driver, and I drive local. I came out. I got married. I remarried my wife, and I'm living, man. And it's just a beautiful thing. And anything that I can do to deter anybody, the youth, not just even the youth, even some of these grown men that think that it's good, to punch on a girlfriend and continue to do robberies or whatever. Prison is, for one, is not the same, and enjoy the beautiful aspects of life. I take life one day at a time, and I enjoy it each and every day, one day at a time, and it's beautiful out here.
Yes, definitely. What has been some of your obstacles and challenges since you've been home?
So basically, it's just right for me. I got home, I bought me a car, person stole my car, right? Here it is, I'm like, man, I done did all this time and come out, I buy a brand new car and they steal it. I only had it like 3 months, right? So that was like a minor setback, lost some
Hmm.
money, things like that. Uh, I was, I was denied a couple of times, some jobs, people looking at you one way, but overall, it's been slow and steady for me, right? I've been gun shy with certain jobs, because it's like I can't disclose. I don't want to disclose. Uh, uh, I'm
That you've been in
so
prison? Yeah.
yeah, I'm so isolated and secluded, right? Even today, I don't have a lot of friends. Right, I'm in a city that for one, I was paroled to a city that I didn't know nobody. Right, right. They sent me to Palm Desert. I didn't have no family out there, nobody. I had to drive 50 miles just to get to the closest people uh, that was around me. So
Hmm.
it was just right. So those is just the distance factor. It's like, okay, one day, and then my brother was on his deathbed, and I couldn't go to San Diego, and so I couldn't be in San Diego for 2 years. And my brother was on his deathbed, and my PO and them, they supervisors told me no, that I couldn't go to San Diego. And I'm looking at, but lucky he pulled through it. But he was on his deathbed, and by having somebody in control of my life, told me I still couldn't go, look out for my brother and my mother, and he was dying. So so that was a big old obstacle for me, man. Broke me down, and I was on the verge of saying screw everybody and go down there, but he pulled out of it, and uh, I just couldn't see myself going back to prison.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't see, man. When you give up your freedom, you someone is controlling your life, telling you when to sleep, what to eat, when to use the when to use the bathroom, telling you where to sleep. You give up control of your life, man, and people telling you what to do because you show that you can't your life is unmanageable, so you giving up control of your life and asking somebody else to control your life for you, and that's one of the worst things for me too as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what some of the things that you like to achieve before you leave this earth? I mean, what you would like to accomplish now that you out? It's been 2 years, 2.5 years. What's some of the things that you'd like to accomplish?
Man, right now, my next thing that right, me and my wife are both working on is next is to get us some passports, because I want to travel. So
Yeah, that's good.
traveling and another thing, I'm still debating if I want to purchase a home right here in Moreno Valley or if I'm gonna go out of state, because financially, having this late start in life, here it is, I'm 52 and I'm starting over financially. I came out here with nothing, and now it's like, where do I want to really be stable at? Because California is just too expensive for a person really just starting over.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and this late in the game, it's like, man, where so those are just so those are just another life challenges is for us, especially a person that's up in age, and then when you come out and people's looking at the factor of right, your work history is so blind. So every time I feel, go back to the challenges. Every time I fill out an application, they asking me for a 10-year work history. Right. So my 10 years of work history is being fabricated throughout the whole CDC system, even though that's, it's true, but right, when I'm putting, I did 10 years out here in Blythe, and then I go to St. Louis Obispo, and I done worked here, and so then I'm putting self-employed, just to make differences.
Yeah.
Because that's for 10-year work history, and I just don't, so I'm fabricating, but it's actual work. But I can't say that, I was in the Department of Corrections, doing this work.
Definitely.
Right, so that's just things that you have to fabricate. But yeah, I would like to purchase a home and do some traveling, man.
Yes,
that's all I want to do. I came back out here and I got with the love of my life. That we've been off and on for over 20-some years.
Yeah.
And I'm just enjoying my life. I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying my children, my grandchildren, and I'm just enjoying life. That's it. That's I can't ask for nothing else, but just to enjoy the rest of my days comfortably.
And I'm happy for you, man. And thinking, I wish you nothing but the best. Can you, before I let you go, how do you get through the day? What keeps you getting through the day each and every day? What helps you get through the day? What anchors you?
Right. The thing that that motivates me, anger me, is I look back and my phone is open to all them dudes that I left. Right. Whoever I gave my phone call to, my phone is open to. So it's just the injustice of that prison system. Right. That I do not never want to go back to that, because I look back at my life, all the damage that I've done to not just to the victims, not just to myself, but most importantly, man, I damaged my mom, man. I damaged, I didn't get to see my father. He passed away on me. My grandmother passed. And it's just, and I alienated myself from my nieces and nephews. So now that I'm a thriving point and they see the things that I'm accomplishing out here, that motivates me every day, just to show people that, hey man, this dude came out here with a positive mindset. Because I don't know if a lot of people has went through this, but a lot of people say, well, you got to prove yourself to see what you're gonna do, because a lot of people just don't know you, and by them not knowing you, you have to be motivated to show not just you, but you showing them that, hey, I'm not that same individual that left in 1997. I'm bigger and I'm better, and I'm gonna show you that who I am. And that's what I do every day. Every day I wake up for success. Every day me and my wife, we pray that, that our life is stable and pray for the blessings that God has given us to, to continue to push forward each and every day. And that's what I live for, bro. I live for the best. I live for my family. And I live for those brothers that's in prison, because if we fail going back and they didn't open the door for so many lifers, just imagine if lifers start to go back, what's going to happen? That pendulum is going to swing back and close the door, and they're going to say, see, you guys should never let them animals out of jail. And I don't never want to be considered an animal again in life.
Praise God, man. Well said. Everything you said, you and I share similar stories. I lost my mom in 2019, and I alienate myself from my nephews and nieces. Some of them I didn't touch for they grown, and then I never laid hands on them, and I had to reconnect, and just those regrets, But in those regrets, for me, I've learned a lot of valuable life lessons, man. That life is short and precious, man, and don't take anything for granted,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely could relate to you, brother.
Likewise.
I
Right.
want to
We
thank.
was together.
Right.
We was together at CMC, man. And it was a
Yeah,
blessing that
yeah,
right. How we all came together,
yeah,
and there's always a reason why certain people come into people's lives. Because is like they say, each one teach one, and that's what
yeah,
we did. Each one taught a person to how to achieve success, how to go on the board and motivate yourself. What you doing wrong, and hold that person accountable. And that's what I like about our circle, because we kept each other accountable for our actions.
yeah. I introduced you. I said, you are my brother. You are my brother that was on a journey with us, and that journey was quest for freedom. And
Yes,
and we put in the work, and by the grace of God, we're able to have this conversation today.
on the outside.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, brother, man. Thank you, man. I know it's 4th of July. You spending time with your family. I want to thank you for taking the time out to join us, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, bro. Anytime, just hit me up and just let me know, and I'll continue my story of success, and share with the brothers and the viewers, just anything to help deter somebody from falling into prey to the system that we fell to. I'm here for you.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man. There you have it. Camera off.